Her mom died. Years later, her dad married a woman named Nona. A couple years later, Nona died, so her dad let her go to med school. Kate died on 1956 on May 30th. Kate delivered over 3,000 to 4,000 babies to be exact. Kate's grave is in Boulder Junction. Eagle River was near where her hospital was built. In 1885, Kate goes to Buffalo. She moved back to New York after Nona died.
Kate Pilgrim Newcomb was a kind woman. She was also a persistent person at that, too. She built a hospital with 1,000 penny drive. When Nona died, Kate was finally able to go to med school, but being a doctor was a men's job when she wanted to go to med school. But she finally found one, and she worked for a little bit at a all-women's hospital, and then delivered 3,000 to 4,000 babies.
Kate Newcomb's childhood. Kate
Zhou Bijong, War to Peace. Index 3. Childhood. 5. Adult life. 8. Why he is famous. 9. How he helped society. 10. Timeline. 11. Other information. Childhood. When Zhou Bijong was 12, he fought in a war named the Secret War during the Vietnam War. He led several people more than 1,550 miles. After that, he went to a place where his family and himself would be safe, another village. He has tons of chores in his childhood, like riding a water buffalo, farming, food purposes. He even had more besides those. He met his future wife named Tamoa, T-A-M-O-A, Tamoa, and he received 3 college degrees. He had 8 kids. He became the first Hmong American police officer in Wisconsin, held public office in the city of Eau Claire, and moved to the United States. He died on a plane in 2007, but he had an amazing life. He was happy with 8 kids, a beautiful wife, and a loving family.
Curly was born in Green Bay, April 9th, 1898. As a boy, Curly played with a burlap salt sack stuffed with sand, leaves, and pebbles. They couldn't afford a ball. In high school, Curly completed in shot put, discus, and broad jump. He got married in 1917. The Packers' first official season in 1919 was incredibly successful. The team won 10 games, all by hugely lopsided scores, such as 87-0.
Tribes present. Some of the lands are the Cross, Houston, Tama, Rock River Falls, Nesville, Friendship, Rigla, and Spada. Population. Population currently is 5,800 members of the Ho-Chunk Nation. They own more than 2,000 acres of land. Traditional dress. Men wore breechcloth and leggings. Women wore tunic dresses. A tunic dress is basically a deerskin dress, and leggings are leggings. Tribes, location, and past. Ho-Chunk tribe originated at Green Bay. Did you know the Ho-Chunk used to be called Winnebago before they moved?
The Ho-Chunk people felt a special bond with the plants and animals that provided them with substance. Figurines that are shaped like thunderbirds and bears.
Symbols of the tribe are an eagle, a bear, an axe, and peace pipe, and spear.
Americans have destroyed their land and given their people diseases, and most of the tribe got sick and died. They hunted bison, bears, deer, and other local wildlife, and for powwows they wore feathers and wore certain clothes to honor their ancestors.
Thank you for listening to our Ho-Chunk presentation. I'm Emma. I'm Olivia.
And I'm Alex.
They have a deep connection to Mother Nature. They don't try to kill Mother Nature. Their land is important to them. That's why they don't try to kill Mother Nature.
Creation story. After a man was created, he was lonely, so the Creator gave him a sister to keep him company. The man dreamed that 5 spirits would visit his sister and want to marry her. The dream told him that he would reject the first 4 and marry the 5th suitor. The first 4 suitors to arrive were tobacco, squash, melon, and bean. On being rejected by the girl, each fell dead. The 5th and last suitor was mandarin, or corn. The girl took him for a husband, and he buried the other 4 suitors. From the bodies grew tobacco, squashes, melons, and beans. All Indian people were descended from the marriage of the Indian girl and corn. I'm Brooke.
I'm Jake.
And we did Potawatomi.
1837, at the age of 7, Stoner moved to Madison. He was one of the city's earliest residents.
Did you know that people were against immigrants?
People in Norway were forced to farm on rocky hills. Land in Wisconsin in the mid to late 18,000s, it was easiest to get good land.
Immigrants are a big part of Wisconsin's past, present, and future.
They needed more people to get a county or town. Natives lost their land during immigration. They traveled with boats because it was faster.
Thank you for listening.
Okay, Harry Houdini lived to be 52 years old. He died on October 31st because a college kid went into the dressing room and punched Harry Houdini as hard as he can. He got sent to the hospital. Harry Houdini was the best entertainer in the world at the time. His most famous trick was the Chinese water foretell. One of his other famous tricks was the East Indian needle, where he swallowed 52 to 100 needles and 20 yards of thread. Thanks for listening.
Traded beads and pelts. The most common pelt was beaver. The French gave iron metal equipment like guns, bullets, and axes. But when the Europeans spread smallpox to the Native Americans, they traded with the French and English when trading at trading posts. All bearing animals were traded, such as bears, otters, deer, squirrels, and mink. The tribes in Wisconsin were the Menominee, Ojibwe, Ho-Chunk, Oneida, Shakagala, Chippewa, Red Cliff Band, Fort Back River Band, St. Cox, Chickawana, Stockbridge, Missouri, and Potawatomi. Then the French came and discovered the Wisconsin tribes. They established trading posts around these tribes so they could trade a trading post for metal materials like guns that were unpalatable. As a result, the tribes get angry at the British. Some of the Wisconsin tribes, as an example, can be the Wisconsin tribe of Potawatomi. The British wanted a higher economy, which is smart of them.
That is why they raised the prices. American Revolutionary War and the War of 1812 occurred between the British and America. America starts controlling the fur trade with Wisconsin. The Americans start making treaties with the Indians of Wisconsin. The fur trade ended because of tribes losing too much land and limited resources and animals.
My name is Emmett and I did the fur trade. It was 12 during World War I. There is a Mildred Fish Harnack Day on September 16th. Mildred Fish Harnack was the only American woman executed by Hitler during World War II. Mildred Fish Harnack wasn't German but loved Germany a lot. Mildred Fish Harnack made leaflets. Mildred loves to be center of attention. Mildred Fish Harnack got 3 degrees. Hitler became leader of Germany. Mildred Fish Harnack and Alfred Harnack go to Germany together. Mildred Fish Harnack dies in 1934, and Mildred was 41 when she died because she was a spy. Thank you for watching or listening.
I'm doing Bill Harwood, and I'm doing Arthur Davidson. Bill Harwood, and I'm Arthur. So Bill Harwood was born on December 29, 1880. Harley Davidson and Ford teamed up to build an F-150 and an F-250. Bill Harley and Arthur Davidson worked in their basement for a very long time, and then they got moved up in a shack in the backyard in Milwaukee. And then they moved up and they upgraded again in Milwaukee.
Okay. Their first bike they made was a non-motor bike in 1901. Arthur's dad died in 1950. Arthur's mom died in 1933. Harley Davidson's first motor bike they made was in 1903, and their first non-motor bike they made it was in 1901. They built a new shop in 1904. Arthur's dad was very famous. They thought of making a motorbike in 1881. Arthur was born February 15th, 1822.
Bill Harwood was one of the leaders in the Hall of Fame in 2002 or 2004.
And that's it. And we're Harley Davidson. I'm Colton.
And I'm Owen.
People of Wisconsin. 1. Paleo people lived near when the Ice Age ended. Paleos hunted woolly mammoths. Archaic people used wild rice. Archaic people also made a lot of jewelry. Old copper culture made knives. Copper's first step is to heat it in fire. Mound builders make conical mounds. Mound builders shape mounds into animals. Onoda people stored their food in deep pits. Onodas made pottery. I'm Donald, and I did earlier People of Wisconsin.
The Ringling Brothers Circus started as a dance show, and it progressed by adding circus moves to the show. In 1884, they had their first circus. In 1887, they were training dogs for their show. In 1887, they also got 18 rail carts, 5 circus tents, 50 horses, 20 elephants, and 10 tigers in their show.
1884 was their first circus where they had their first elephant. After a while of being in the circus world, they were competing with the #1 circus, Barnum and Bailey. Sadly, soon after they were competing, Barnum had died and they had won over Barnum and Bailey Circus. Since they both were combined, they settled on the name The Greatest Show on Earth after resembling them being the #1 circus in the world. This is the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus by Alexa.
Joshua Glover. Joshua Glover was born a slave in the 1820s. His parents were slaves, he had no school, and when he was old enough, he went straight to work on the fields. He worked on the crops and helped take care of the animals. When he was 32, he ran away from Benjamin Stone Garland, the person who enslaved him. When he was running, the distance he ran was 350 miles, and he was being chased while running. Once he made it to Wisconsin, because that's where there was no slavery, he only got a tiny break because there was a Fugitive Slave Act signed by Benjamin Stone Garland. When that act was signed, he got took to prison because a posse broke into his house. But when he was stuck in prison, a posse of people did not like that he was in prison because he did not deserve it. But in the 1850s, I forgot. In the 1850, the Compromise of 1850 freed him. And so he ran to Canada, hiding on the way while being chased, because there is a law where there is no slavery in Canada. My name is William, and this research is on Joshua Glover.